Our program today is being produced by the campus ministries of Fordham University with the cooperation of the Catholic Campus Ministry Association and originating from the instructional television studios of the New York Archdiocese. For my introduction of Father Tony De Mello, I have just one personal note I want to communicate with you. The most important year in my life was 3 years ago when I spent 6 months with Tony in India. It is a joy for me to share him with you for this one day. Please welcome a colleague, fellow Jesuit, friend, Tony De Mello of the Society of Jesus. Take it away. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, let me begin by telling you what I plan to do with you today. First of all, I'm delighted to be talking to a young group. The first time I'm doing this in the United States. I mean, I can see all of you are very young, even the somewhat older looking ones. But you know, I plan to keep this as relaxed and as homely as possible. Someone has told you, I think this is going to be a retreat. Well, yes, a retreat of sorts. You know, this isn't a church where I think this is going to be more in the nature of a kind of a dialogue. I discovered something 10, 12 years ago, and it turned my life upside down, revolutionized my life. I became a new man. So this is what I'm going to share with you. Happy to share it with you in a special kind of way, though, because you might say to me, how come you heard this just 10 or 12 years ago? Hadn't you read the Gospels? Of course I'd read the Gospels, but I hadn't seen it. It was right there, but I hadn't seen it. Later, having discovered it, see, I found it in all the major religious writings. And I'm amazed. I mean, I was reading it, and I hadn't recognized it, hadn't seen it. I wish to God I'd found this when I was younger, like most of you. Oh, what a difference it would have made. So how long would it take to give it to you? A whole day? Well, I'll be honest with you. A couple of minutes. I don't think it would take more than 2 minutes. Giving it to you wouldn't take more than a couple of minutes, I don't think. Grasping it or getting it might take you 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, 10 minutes, 1 day, 3 days. Who knows? Who knows? That depends on you. If you would bring one quality to this little session we're having here together today, just one. You need one quality to see what I sort of saw 10 years ago and what revolutionized my life. Various people have told me since then that their lives were pretty much revolutionized too. But not too many people, I'm sorry to say, very few. I tend to think that if about, let's say, 1,000 people are listening to me and one hears it, that's a pretty good average. Pretty good average. Is it difficult to hear? Is it difficult to understand? It's so simple, a 7-year-old child could understand it. Isn't that amazing? And in fact, when I think of it today, I think, why didn't I see it? I don't know. I don't know why I didn't see it, but I didn't. Now, maybe one or other of you might see it today or might see part of it. What would you need to see it? Just one thing, the ability to listen. That's all. Are you able to listen? If you can, you might get it. Now, listening is not as easy as you might think it is. reason. We're always listening from kind of fixed concepts, fixed positions, prejudices. See, listening does not mean swallowing. That's gullibility. Oh, he says it, so I take it. I don't want any of you to have any spirit of faith while you're listening to me. I mean, you could take what the church teaches on faith, you could take the Bible on faith, etc. Don't take me on faith. What I want you to do is question everything I'm saying, think about it, come back at me. Feel free to do that. See, even while I'm talking, ask questions, raise your hands anytime. I'd be happy to do this kind of dialogue with you. So it does not mean gullibility, but then listening doesn't mean attacking, see, because I'm going to say something so new, some of you are going to think I'm crazy, I'm out of my mind. So then you're going to be tempted to attack. If you tell a Marxist there's something wrong with Marxism, the first thing he's likely to do is attack you. You tell a capitalist there's something wrong with capitalism, he's up in arms. You tell an American, hey, you know, there's something wrong with the United States. And the same with the Indian, if you're attacking India, etc. Doesn't mean swallowing, doesn't mean attacking, doesn't mean agreeing. They tell me about a Jesuit superior who was a great success, see. So somebody said to him, how come you're such a great success as a superior? He says, very simple. The formula is simple. I agree with everyone. I just agree with everyone. They said, don't be absurd. How could you be a successful superior agreeing with everybody? He says, that's right. How could I be a successful superior agreeing with everybody? So it doesn't mean agreeing with me. You could disagree with me and get it. Isn't that amazing? It means being alert. You're alert, you're watching, you're listening with a kind of a fresh mind. That's not easy either. Listening with a fresh mind, without prejudices, without fixed formulas. See, like just yesterday somebody told me the story of the guy who was told that, you know, the famous saying, you have an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, this guy was having an affair with the doctor's wife and was eating an apple a day. So, no, he got it all wrong. He got it all wrong. He was from a fixed formula, see, a fixed position. They tell me of a priest who was sort of trying to convince an alcoholic parishioner that he ought to give up drink. So he gets a glass of alcohol, pure alcohol, and he gets hold of a bug, a worm, and he drops it into the glass. And the poor worm begins to wriggle and dies. And he says to the parishioner, you got the message, John? John said, yeah, Father, I got the message. I got the message. You know, you got a bug in your stomach, alcohol's the thing to take. Say, oh, God, he got the message, yes. John wasn't listening, see, he wasn't listening. Well, I know a case where Father wasn't listening either, because they tell of the alcoholic who goes to the parish priest. The parish priest was reading the newspaper, didn't want to be disturbed. He said, excuse me, Father. Father was irritated. He ignored him. Excuse me, Father. Father says, what is it? He said, could you tell me what causes arthritis, Father? Father was irritated. What causes arthritis? He says, drinking causes arthritis. That's what causes arthritis. Going about with loose women causes arthritis. That's what causes arthritis. Gambling causes arthritis. That's what causes arthritis. Why did you ask? He says, because it says in the paper here that the Holy Father has arthritis. Father wasn't listening, see? So, okay. All right. If you are ready to hear something new, simple, new, unexpected, against almost everything you've been told till now, you ready to hear that? Then maybe you'll hear what I have to say. Maybe you'll get it. You know, when Jesus taught the good news, I think he was attacked not only because what he taught was good, but because it was new. We hate anything new. I hated anything new. I don't want to hear anything new. Give me the old stuff. We don't like the new. It's too disturbing, too liberating. Okay, so the ability to listen. Buddha formulated it beautifully. He says, monks and scholars must accept my words not out of respect, must not accept my words out of respect, but must analyze them the way a goldsmith analyzes gold, by cutting, scraping, rubbing, melting. You must not accept my words out of respect, but analyze them by cutting, the way the goldsmith analyzes gold, see? Cutting, scraping, rubbing, melting. Okay, so we've got that clear. Next, the theme of today, we said the rediscovery of life. So let's begin the investigation. Let's begin the research. And then I'll get you even to talk to one another and share views, etc. Okay? So let's start. Life. What's this thing we call life? Take a look at the world, and then I'll invite you to take a look at your own life. Take a look at the world. Poverty everywhere. I read in the New York Times yesterday that the bishops of the United States claim that there are 33 million people in the United States who are living below the poverty line drawn by the government itself. If you think that is poverty, you ought to come to other countries and see the squalor, the dirt, the misery. You call that life? Well, I've got news for you. I'll show you life even there. About 12 years ago, a little more, I was introduced to a rickshaw puller in Calcutta. You know what a rickshaw is? The guy who, it's awful. I mean, a human being, you don't have a horse pulling you, but you've got a human being pulling you. The lifespan of these poor men is from 10 to 12 years once they begin pulling the rickshaw. They don't last very long. They get tuberculosis. See? Now, Ramchandra was his name. Ramchandra had TB. At that time, there was a little group of people engaging in an illegal activity called exporting skeletons. The government eventually caught on to them. But you know what they did? They sort of bought your skeleton while you were alive. If you were very poor, you went to them and you sold your skeleton for the equivalent about $10. And so they'd say to you, many of these rickshaw pullers, they'd say, how long have you been working in this trade? And Ramchandra says, 10 years. And they think, he doesn't have much longer to live. All right, here's your money. Then the moment you die, they pounce on the body, they take it away. And then when the body is decomposed through some process they have, they get hold of the skeleton. Well, Ramchandra had sold his skeleton. That's how miserable he was. And so on and on. He had a wife, he had kids, and the squalor, the poverty, the misery, the uncertainty. You'd never think to find happiness there, right? One day I said to this guy, nothing seemed to faze him. He was all right. Nothing seemed to upset him. I said to him, aren't you upset? He said, about what? You know, your future, the future of the kids. He says, well, I'm doing the best I can, but the rest is in the hands of God. I said, hey, but what about your sickness? That causes suffering, doesn't it? He says, a bit. We got to take life as it comes. I never once saw him in a bad mood. Well, one day when I was talking to this guy, I suddenly realized I was in the presence of a mystic. I suddenly realized I was in the presence of life. It was right there. He was alive. I was dead. You know, a person, a man who reincarnated in himself those lovely words of Jesus. Look at the birds of the air. Look at the flowers of the field. They don't sow, they don't spin. They don't have a moment of anxiety for the future, not like you. It was right here. I know he must be dead by now. You know, I met him very briefly there in Calcutta and then went on to where I live now, further south in India. What happened to this guy? I don't know. But I know I'd met a mystic. Extraordinary person. He discovered life, rediscovered, discovered. You know, it's interesting. I frequently reflected. The human mind is such an extraordinary thing. It has invented the computer. It has split the atom. It sends ships into space. It has not solved the problem of human suffering, of anguish, loneliness, emptiness, despair. You're pretty young, most of you. But I honestly don't think you're strangers to loneliness, heartache, emptiness, depression, despair. How come we haven't found the answer to that? We've made all kinds of technological advances. Has that raised the quality of our living by 1 inch? Want to know my opinion? No, not 1 inch. Oh, we have more comfort, more speed, pleasures, entertainments, that's right, more erudition, greater technological advances. What I'm saying is, any improvement on that loneliness and emptiness and heartache, any improvement on that greed and hatred and conflict, less fighting, less cruelty? If you want my opinion, I think it's worse. And the tragedy is, as I discovered 10 or 12 years ago, the secret has been found. They discovered the atom. We don't have to go in search of solving it. We got the solution. Why don't we use it? We don't want it. That's why. Would you believe that? We don't want it. We don't want it. Can you imagine my saying to somebody, look, I'm going to give you a formula which would make you happy for the rest of your life. You'll enjoy every single minute of the rest of your life. Imagine my saying that to you. Okay, I'm going to say that to you today. I'm going to give you the formula. I'm going to give it to you. You know what most of you are going to do? Sorry for insulting you in advance, okay? But if you're anything, if you're anything like the audiences I've had till now, you know what most of you are going to do? You say, stop it! Don't tell me! Stop it! Don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. And you don't even have to take that on faith. I'm going to prove it to you. You're going to prove it to me before the end of today. Oh, we're going to have a lot of fun. You what? You don't want it. 6 months ago, or roughly 6 months ago, last summer, I was in St. Louis, Missouri, giving a workshop, kind of a weekend workshop. There was a priest there who came to see me. He said, you know, I accept every single word you've said over these 3 days, every single word of it. And you know why? Not because I've done what you encouraged us to do, to cut and rub and scrape and analyze. He says, no. He said, about 3 months ago, I assisted an AIDS victim on his deathbed. And the man told me the following. He said, Father, 6 months ago, the doctor told me I had 6 months to live. How right he is, because how right he was. The man was dying, see. He said I had exactly 6 months to live, and I believed him. And you know something, Father? These have been the 6 happiest months of my whole misspent life. Happiest. In fact, I've never been happy till these 6 months. I discovered happiness. He said, as soon as the doctor told me that, I dropped tension, pressure, anxiety, hope, and fell not into despair but into happiness at last. And the priest said, you know, many is the time I've been reflecting on the words of that man. He said, when I heard you this weekend, I thought, the guy's come alive again. You're saying exactly what he said. Here's another guy who had it, who found it. You're Christians, most of you. You know, I'm accustomed to talking to groups that are not Christians either. Then I generally take the Quran. Philippians. For whatever the situation I find myself, you've got it right here, the formula's here. Well, he doesn't tell you how to do it, that I shall supply. No, it's right here too. The formula's here too. How to do it is here too. But listen to what he says. For whatever the situation I find myself in, I have learnt to be self-sufficient. What do you mean self-sufficient? You're not vulnerable. Yeah, there it goes. You'll be attacking me before the end of today. Yeah. For whatever the situation I find myself in, I have learned to be self-sufficient. I am experienced in being brought low, and I have known what it meant to have abundance. I have learned how to cope with every circumstance, how to eat well or to go hungry, to be well provided for or to do without. I have learned to cope with every circumstance, how to eat well or to go hungry, to be well provided for or to do without. A little earlier he says, rejoice always, rejoice in the Lord. Again I say it, rejoice. I think of Ramchandra in Calcutta. I think of that AIDS victim in St. Louis. That's what he's talking about. I had read it all my life and had never understood it. I mean, it was staring me in the face, didn't grasp it. Okay, let's suppose you want to grasp it. Let's suppose you want to see it. What do you have to do? A, understand a couple of truths about yourself. Then I'll throw the formula at you, and you make what you want of it. So here goes. What do you have to understand about yourself? First, your life is in a mess. Don't like to hear that? Well, maybe it proves that it's true. Your life is in a mess. Maybe you'll say to me, maybe, if you're like the average person I run into, your life is in a mess. People will say to me, what do you mean my life is in a mess? I'm doing pretty well in my studies. I got good parents. I got good relations with my family. I've got a boyfriend. I've got a girlfriend. Everybody likes me. I'm doing well at sports. And I have a pretty brilliant career ahead of me. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Do you think your life is not in a mess? He says, no. All right, tell me. Here's the acid test. Ever feel lonely? Any heartache? Ever get upset by anything? You mean, aren't we supposed to get upset? You want the clean, clear, simple answer? Yeah. No. You mean not be upset by anything? That's right, you heard me. No. Shut up. I don't want to hear any more. See what I mean? No. He got a theory. He's got a theory. You got to be upset or you're not human. Okay, go ahead and be upset. Good luck. Bye. You know, there's a lovely saying by one of your American authors, which I frequently quote. He says, "Don't teach a pig to sing. It wastes your time and irritates the pig." I had to learn the lesson the hard way. I've stopped trying to teach pigs to sing. You don't want to hear what I'm saying? Bye. No arguments. They don't argue. I'm ready to explain, ready to clarify. Why try to argue? Not worth it. So, ever suffer any interior conflict? You mean all your relationships are going well with everybody? Well, no. Your life is in a mess. You mean you're enjoying every single minute of your life? Well, not quite. Well, see what I told you? It's in a mess. Hey, wait a minute. The incarnation. Yeah. All right, bye. See you later, alligator. Why argue? I'm not interested in arguing with you, period. I know because I was doing that all along. Not interested in arguing. You either face the fact that your life is in a mess or you don't. You don't want to face it, I've got nothing to say to you. And your life is in a mess means you're a victim of heartache, at least occasionally. You feel lonely. There's emptiness staring at you. You're scared. You scared? Yeah. Your life is in a mess. You mean we're not supposed to be scared? No, sir, or madam, as the case may be. No, not supposed to be scared. About anything? About anything. But Muhammad was... Excuse me, we'll deal with Muhammad later. All right? Let's talk about you. Fearlessness. You don't know what it means. And the tragedy is you don't think it's available. It's so easy to get. Since they told you it's not available, you never try to find it. But it's right here all over the Bible, and you won't see it because they told you it's not available. You anxious for the future? Any whiff of anxiety, worry, upset? Yeah, you're in a mess. How about that? Want to clean it up? I'll clean it up for you in 5 minutes, depending on how ready you are. You don't have to move out of that chair. You could be sitting in that chair and you could clean it up in 5 minutes. And I mean that. This isn't a sales gimmick. I mean it. It's so simple and it's so deadly serious that people miss it. And you can have it. You know, there's a... Do you know how they discovered the diamond mines in South Africa? It's a very interesting story. I read it some time back. This author says, I think it was an American, a guy, a white man, who was there in South Africa, was sitting at the hut of the headman of one of these South African villages. And he sees the kids there playing with what looked like marbles. And his heart skipped a beat when he recognized that those weren't marbles at all, they were diamonds. He picked a couple of them up. Diamonds. So he says to the village headman, he says, could you give me some of these? You know, I've got children back home who play this sort of game too, and yours are a bit different. Could you, you know, I'd be ready to give you a pouch of tobacco for this. And the chief laughed. He said, look, this would be highway robbery. I mean, it would be real robbery to take your tobacco for these things. We've got thousands of them here. So he gave him a basket full. The guy comes back, goes back with a lot of money, buys up all of that land, and within 10 years, he's the richest man in the world. Now, you know, that could be a parable. It's tragic, it's painful to think. I mean, I think back on my own life and I think, why did I waste it? I wasted it. In all kinds of wonderful things, believe me. Pastoral ministries, theological enterprises, liturgical services, etc., etc., etc. You know, the more occupied we are in the things of God, we priests, the more likely we are to forget what God is all about. And the more complacent we're likely to become. That's the story of Jesus. Who do you think got rid of Jesus? The priests. Who else? The religious people. That's the terror of the gospel, see? All right, so now, I think I wasted it. I don't have a minute's regret. Why waste even a minute regretting the past, okay? But the fact is I wasted it. I'm reminded of that powerful story of the fisherman who goes out early in the morning to fish. And it's too, whatever, I don't understand these things, but apparently it's too dark or something. And his foot hits upon something that seems like a sack. So he picks it up, probably washed ashore from some shipwreck or whatever. Then he opens it and he can feel pebbles inside. So he takes these pebbles and he entertains himself till it's dawn, see, by flinging those pebbles far out into the sea and to see if he can judge from the plop how far he sent the pebble. Well, when it becomes a bit light and the dawn begins to, or the day begins to dawn, he looks into the sack and he finds 3 precious stones there. God, they were filled with precious stones and he hadn't known it. Too late. Too late. Too late. Too late. Not too late. 3 stones still. Not too late. Not too late. Let's suppose this guy, he's starving. These people who were sitting on top of those diamond mines, they're starving, their children are undernourished, etc. They're looking for food, they're begging, they're pleading with people to feed them. And someone says, hey, don't sell that property. You've got diamond mines. You see this thing? You see this thing? It's a diamond. You could sell it. You could get $100,000 for this. They say, him no diamond, him stone. He got it in his head that that's a stone. Refuses to listen. No, that's a stone. Now that's the condition of people everywhere. They won't hear you. They won't listen. You're telling them life is extraordinary. Life is delightful. You could enjoy it. You wouldn't have a minute of tension. Not one. No pressure. No anxiety. You want it? Not possible. Never been done. Cannot be done. No spirit of research, of investigation. Let's find out. Let's go. No. Can't be done. I don't want to hear you. I mean, our priests have told us it can't be done. Our psychologists tell us it cannot be done. You coming to tell us it can be done? Out. Too bad. All right. So the first thing, are you ready to admit that your life is in a mess? Second, this is a bit tougher, okay? You don't want to get out of it. You do not want to get out of the mess. You talk to any psychologist who's worth his name and he'll confirm that. The last thing a client wants is a cure. He doesn't want to get cured, he wants relief. Eric Berne, one of your great psychiatrists here in the United States, puts it very graphically. I won't give his exact words because I'm a bit scared. You know, this is traveling, how much did he say? 44,000 miles? I better use respectable language. He says, imagine a client who's up to his nose in a cesspool, okay? Yeah, he calls it liquid S-H-I-T. So he's up to his nose in a cesspool, all right. And he's coming to you, and you know what he's saying to you? He's saying, could you help me so people won't make waves? Doesn't want to get out. Oh, no, get out, for heaven's sake, no. Just help me so they won't make waves. That's what he wants. He doesn't want to get out. He doesn't. You want to test that on yourself? I'll give you a couple of minutes. You could do it right now. You want to test it on yourself? Okay, here goes. Suppose you could be blissfully happy, but you're not going to get that degree. Ready to barter your degree for happiness? You're not going to get that girlfriend of yours or that boyfriend. Ready to barter them for happiness? Huh? You know something? You're not going to be a success. You're going to fail. And everybody say, he's a bum. But you'll be happy. You'll be blissfully happy. Ready to barter the good opinion of people for that? Oh, no. I'll give you time to think about it later. Oh, no. No, sir. Or madam. I'm told about that Chinese student who was learning English. And he learned it from a book, of course, the poor kid. And this lady says, would you have a cup of tea? He says, yes, sir, or madam, as the case may be. So there it is. So no, sir. So anytime I say no, you could take the madam for granted, as the case may be, all right? So no, sir, he's not ready. When I was in Syracuse last summer, I read a nice ad that says, you know, there's this girl holding on to a boy, the ad in the newspaper, and she says, I don't want to be happy. The only happy people I know are in a lunatic asylum. I want to be miserable with you. See what I mean? I don't want to be happy. I want to be miserable with you. She'll develop a theology about the damn thing after a while. They don't want to get out of it. They don't want it. They don't want it. They don't want it. I don't want happiness. I want fame. I don't want happiness. I want to get that gold medal at the Olympics. Suppose I tell you, look, give up the gold medal. You'll be happy, damn it. What do you want that gold medal for? What do you want to be the top, the boss of the corporation for? I'll make you happy. On $10,000 a year, I'll make you happy. No, 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 give me my money. My money, my money, my money, my money. See what I mean now? Now you're catching on. They don't want to be happy. They don't want to live. They want money. You know that guy Ramchandra, the rickshaw puller? He lived like a king. He lived like a king. I mean it. I mean it. Foreign aid is fine. He didn't need foreign aid, not to live. He needed foreign aid for comfort. He needed it for health, not for life. He might have needed it for longevity, which means, you know, a long life. But you call that you call that life? Long existence. Not to live. He was living. I was dead. He knew what life was. He was happy. He was like the birds of the air and the lilies of the field. He was an incarnation of the Sermon on the Mount. It was all there in the Sermon on the Mount. I discovered later. It's all there. Hadn't seen it. He lived like a king. What does it mean to live like a king? You know what idiots think it means? And the world is peopled with them, believe me. Idiots. You know what they think it means? It means moving around in limousines, having everybody curtsy to them and salute them and all that sort of rubbish, all that sort of garbage, have their names in the headlines. They think that means having power over people. They think that's what it means to live like a king. I tell you what I think it means. They're not living like kings, they're slaves. They're terrified. Look at their faces on television, for heaven's sake. Those kings and queens and presidents and the rest of them. Look at them on television, you'd recognize it at once. He's scared. You know why he's scared? Because he wants power, that's why. He wants prestige, he wants a reputation, that's why. He's not living like a king. I'll tell you what it means to live like a king. To know no anxiety at all, no inner conflict at all, no tensions, no pressures, no upset, no heartache. So then what are you left with? Happiness, undiluted. People sometimes say, what do I do to be happy? You don't do anything to be happy, silly. It shows how bad your theological education has been that you think you've got to do something to be happy. You don't have to do anything to be happy. You can't acquire happiness. You know why? Because you have it. You got it right now. You got it. But you're the whole time blocking it in your stupidity. You're blocking it. Stop blocking it, you'll have it. If I could show you how to get rid of your conflicts, your anxieties, your tensions, your pressures, your emptiness, your loneliness, your despair, your depression, your heartache, you get rid of all of that, what are you left with? Sheer undiluted happiness. That's what you have. The Chinese put it beautifully. When the eye is unobstructed, they say, the result is sight. Don't do anything to get sight. When the eye is unobstructed, the result is sight. When the ear is unobstructed, the result is hearing. When the mouth is unobstructed, the result is taste. I will add later. When the mind is unobstructed, the result is truth. And when the heart is unobstructed, the result is joy and love. You've got it all, but it's obstructed. Drop it. So second major step, you don't want to get out of it. You want comfort. You want your little possessions. You want the little things that society has taught you are essential for happiness. Falsely, you want that. You don't want to get out of the mess. Those are the things that are creating the mess. Look, I've been talking too much. I've been talking for 45 minutes. I ought to give you a bit of a break. Let me do this. Let me give you something to talk about for 2 or 3 minutes. You can even stand up while you're talking about it. See, I don't want you to be sitting there so long. Stand up and stretch and talk about it, and then maybe you want to ask me a few questions. Later, I'll give you a somewhat longer break to draw up more formal questions. You get what I'm saying? More formal questions. And then we'll take in questions from outside too. But we'll do that a bit later, maybe 15 minutes hence. Why don't you stand up for a couple of minutes and think of this. I'm going to give you something to talk about and to think of. It's this. Has it ever occurred to you that what you call your happiness is really your chain? Has it ever occurred to you that what you call your happiness, just think, what do you call your happiness? You calling somebody your happiness? You are my joy. Your marriage, your business, your degree, whatever. Where do you find your happiness? In whom do you find your happiness? Your prison. Oh, this is hard language, and who can listen to these words? But reflect on it, cut, scrape, melt. Then maybe I could get a little reaction from you. Then I go right on with the presentation, kind of, relentlessly on, and then we'll have a longer break. Take a couple of minutes, stand up, stretch, kind of thing, relax. Let's pick up the thread again. Your life is in a mess. You don't want to get out of it. There was another thing. It's in a mess because you've got wrong ideas. Not because there's anything wrong with you. You're okay. And I'm okay, you're okay. We're all okay. We're great. There's nothing wrong with us. They put wrong ideas into our head. Somebody did. We needn't spend too much time trying to catch the culprit. But anyway, the fact is you got wrong ideas. It's like somebody gives you a stereo set and you get a manual of instructions that comes along with it. Well, they didn't give us a manual of instructions when they gave us the gift of life. Or let's put it the other way. They gave us the manual of instructions. It was all wrong. So you're not getting music. You're getting scratchy sounds. You're getting upset, you're getting conflicts, you're getting loneliness, you're getting emptiness. Oh, it was right there in the Bible, but very few people read it really. They think they do, but they miss the point. I missed the point. Maybe I'm an unusually big idiot, but I discovered lots of company after a while. They missed the point too. They didn't get it. All right, so what is the point? Now, there are many ways of putting the formula. I'm going to give you the simplest I found. I'm going to give it to you in the words of old Buddha. Why did I choose him? Because his is the simplest of all, but you find it everywhere. It's the simplest of all, enunciated with limpid clarity. You're probably going to disagree with it, but you can't miss the point. Here it is. The world is full of sorrow. The root of sorrow is desire. The uprooting of sorrow is desirelessness. Oh, I'm looking at your faces. It's wonderful you're thinking. That's great. That's great. And you're thinking wrong. That's awful. Isn't it wonderful? Because I know how I used to react to this. The world is full of sorrow. Great. Right. Agreed. The root of sorrow is desire. All right. Now, what are you going to conclude? The uprooting of sorrow is desirelessness. So I'm going to be a vegetable? I mean, how do we live without desires? Ah, you got it. See, I got it. I got it. Let's give you a better translation. I mean, I don't think Buddha would be so foolish and stupid as to say we ought to have no desires, for heaven's sake. I wouldn't be here if I didn't have the desire to come here, right? I wouldn't be speaking if I didn't have the desire to speak. You wouldn't be here if you didn't have the desire to come and hear me. So let's give it a better translation. The world is full of sorrow. The root of sorrow is attachment. The uprooting of sorrow means the uprooting, the dropping of attachments. You know, there are desires on whose fulfillment my happiness does not depend. You got lots of desires on whose fulfillment your happiness does not depend. Or else you'd be climbing walls, you'd be nervous wrecks. All of us have two types of desires. We got desires, you know, we desire all kinds of things, and gee, we're happy to get them. And we don't get them, okay, too bad. We're not unhappy. But we've got other desires. Good Lord, if we don't get that, we're going to be miserable. That's what he calls an attachment. Where do you think all conflicts come from? Attachments. Where do you think greed comes from? Attachments. Where do you think loneliness comes from? Attachments. Where do you think emptiness comes from? You got it, same cause. Where do you think fears come from? My, how clever you're becoming. Attachments. No attachment, no fear. Ever thought of that? No attachment, no fear. We're going to take your life. Go right ahead. No attachment to life. Happy to live. Happy to let go. You think that's possible? You know something? People have attained it. So it is possible. Want to attain it yourself? Attachment. Sorry, sir, you have AIDS. You only have 6 months to live. Just 6 months? Boy, that's a lot of time to live. That's wonderful. Happiness. Hey, this guy got no attachment. You walk into a restaurant. I think we'll have soup tonight. What kind of soup do you have? You have tomato soup? No, sorry, sir, no tomato soup. No tomato soup, for heaven's sake. I mean, what kind of a restaurant is this? Come on, folks, we're going somewhere else. See, if I don't get tomato soup, I can't have dinner. Attachment. What kind of soup do you have? Tomato soup? No tomato soup. Well, what do you have? Well, we got sweet corn, we got mushroom soup, we got chicken broth, we got pretty good. I like all of those. How about mushroom? Let me slip in another little secret. I'm going to cheat on old Buddha right now and slip another little one in while we're on this point. You know, when you enjoy the scent of 1,000 flowers, you're not going to feel too bad about the absence of one. Nobody ever told you that in your culture, did they? They didn't tell me. When you enjoy the taste of 1,000 dishes, you're not going to feel too bad about the absence of one. Do you recollect being educated to enjoy 1,000 dishes so that nothing upsets you? See, we missed that, we got this. What do you know? Oh, no, 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 you got to get this. That's what your culture and mine is training us for. We got the wrong instructions. They don't give a damn whether you and I are happy or not. They want us to achieve, produce. That's what they want, even if we're going to be miserable slaves and unhappy. So big deal. You lost a friend. You got 1 million friends. No, not that kind. I want one personal, unique, unsubstitutable friend. So if he rejects me, then I'm miserable for the rest of my life. Good luck. Bye. Not teaching this pig to sing. Too dangerous. But that's the way we've been brought up. That's the way it has been for thousands of years. You got to have desires on whose fulfillment your happiness depends. Very good for so-called progress, of course, because you'll throw all you have into the enterprise. So-called progress. I call it so-called, because that's not progress to me. That isn't progress. You mean, isn't it progress when we have jumbo jets and spaceships? Very clever. I'll tell you what is progress. Heart progress, love progress, happiness progress. You got that? Oh, sorry, we don't have that. You can keep the rest. What's the use of it? Tell me, what's the use of moving around in aeroplanes with a heart that is full of misery and emptiness? Tell me. I'd rather live on the ground in a jungle and be blissfully happy and dancing all day. Wouldn't you? Maybe you wouldn't. I don't know. You see, you're really confronted with a choice of life or death. And what people call life is frequently death. And they don't know it. And you mean to tell me that if you've got attachments, you can love? The biggest enemy to love, attachments. Desire in the sense of attachment. You know why? Because if I desire you, I want to possess you. I can't leave you free. I got to get you. I got to manipulate you so that I can get you. If I desire you in this way, I'm going to manipulate myself so that I can hoodwink you.